Good evening, Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to another edition of MMB Live Show. This is Angela Green, Executive Director of On Location Memphis, and I just want to welcome you all to another edition, MMB Live Show. I just want to welcome my co-host for this evening and always, Christie Taylor. Hello. God, we do so many. Wow. Yes, happy Monday. We get these little shows mixed up. I almost thought I was on the OLM Live show. So how's it going this Monday?
It's really going really good. And you know something, I have a lot of great information to share about what's happening in the film industry. And I know that you are big on investing, so you're going to love this story. I love movies. I love going to the movie theater. Of course, the pandemic put a damper on all of us on that. But I know you as an investor were also keeping up with AMC as far as how a lot of Robin Hood investors really came in to save the day. And as a thank you, check this out, AMC Entertainment, their stocks have surged this past Wednesday after the company announced a new program to reward #AMC Army of retail investors. And they have personally invited all of their 3 million plus retail investors to sign up for a new program called, check this out, Angela, AMC Investor Connect, which is going to give them special offers and company updates, including a free large popcorn when they come back to their first AMC movie this summer. And it even gives them a chance to sign up and become members of the AMC Stubs Rewards Program, which is free to join at the lowest level. And check this out, the highest level allows you for $19.95 to enjoy 3 movies per week in the theater. And of course,
really?
Yes, as they're looking at this, those in the industry, in the investment circle, they're like, this is a brilliant move. Therefore, if you are an investor and you want to get free popcorn and a free movie, AMC definitely wants to reward you for supporting it through the hard time that they had during the pandemic. Wow.
I think that's awesome. I do kind of wonder how long that will last, because it kind of reminds me of Movie Pass. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Movie Pass.
Movie Pass.
And but you know, the studios and the theaters was shutting down Movie Pass, and basically AMC has turned into Movie Pass.
Right. But I mean, the whole reason why Movie Pass went out of business is because it was not a sustainable structure as far as the money goes. But maybe because AMC is the distributor, you know, the theater, maybe they can make those numbers work a little bit better. But it definitely is going to be, you know, to the benefit of the retail investors. And I mean, 3 movies a week for $20. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, you can't beat that.
It's a win-win for AMC, because if you even want to do that, the AMC stubs and invest, you as a stockholder are going to be making money off of going to the movies.
Exactly. So yeah, it's definitely a win-win that way.
Yeah, that's a win-win for AMC all the way around. Of course, you know, On Location Memphis Film Festival and Music Festival had to also be on pause for the last couple of years. But guess who is going to be the first one out with a live festival? Raise your hand if you know it's Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, obviously. I mean, you know, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. They're going to lead the way for us.
They're leading the way for the industry. Of course, Sundance didn't do it. Tribeca didn't do it. But the first global film event to be staged for 2021 will be the 73rd edition of the Cannes Film Festival, which will take place under strict security and health guidelines. Of course, one of the things, the protocol that they're really highlighting is, of course, one of the things we love is the red carpet. So one of the major changes, Angela, this year will be the fact that you're going to have the mask on doing all of your screenings, which will be at 100% occupancy. So that means they will be a packed house. You have to have your mask on during the screenings and on and around the red carpet. And last but not least, one of the big changes is that a lot of the stars that usually would break away from the red carpet and sign autographs, they don't think that's going to happen.
They're not going to allow that.
They said unless some of the changes are happening by July, that's going to be a no-no. But so mask on while you're watching the movies at 100% occupancy, also on and around the red carpet. You got to keep the stars safe. You got to keep the stars
right. You're right, exactly. Exactly. So that makes sense, but that's good. I mean, it's a step in the right direction. So hopefully many more will follow suit. after them.
Indeed. Now, the last bit of news that I want to say is kind of bringing it back down to the deal makers of this week. And I want to give a major shout out to Ava DuVernay. Array has partnered her organization, which is a multi-platform media company and arts collective, with Google. Okay, I know that sounds like what? A film company with Google. Well, they're actually partnering because Google has been making a very strong effort across all platforms and all sectors to raise what they call the misserved or the underrepresented community. So they're partnering with Ava DuVernay's Array for money. We're talking a $500,000, $500,000 feature film grant designed specifically support emerging creators from underrepresented communities. So they're stepping in with money into Ava DuVernay's Array to find those emerging filmmakers who needs money to make those feature films. The other deal maker of the week is Jennifer Lopez. Now, of course, she is in the midst of a rekindling love affair with Ben. Jennifer is back. Jennifer is back. But Jennifer is also still inking those deals. Her production company has signed a first look deal with Netflix. So can we say cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching? Of course, Netflix has been showing mad love to a lot of established filmmakers, stars. Of course, one of the best ones that we love to celebrate is Shonda Rhimes because she has brought us Bridgerton. But now we have Jennifer Lopez. Of course, also we have to give props to Netflix because they signed a great deal with Michelle and Barack Obama. And now Jennifer Lopez has her own first deal with Netflix as well. And it's going to be one of her first two projects is going to be a streamer called The Mother that she's going to be starring as well. And then last but not least, I got to give a shout out to one of our very own. He's not making a deal, but he's wrapping up his day one of his directorial debut. One of Memphis' own, Princeton James Echols. He is directing his first feature film here in Memphis, and he is super excited about it. I'm checking out his Facebook. He's showing us behind the scenes. And if you go to his Facebook page right now, Princeton Echols, you'll even see that in the last 24 hours, they have started working on his first feature film, Killer Instinct. So shout out to our own local film community. Shout out to Princeton James Echols. Killer Instincts, it's happening, and we are saluting him inside of our MLB Live. So shout out to him. I'm super excited, right?
Congratulations to
first Monday of June.
Yes, absolutely. So that's some good news for the film industry. You know me, I like to stay focused on the money. So as far as the music is concerned, we're talking.
Where's your theme song, Angela? Where's that? All about the money. What's that?
Right.
That's about the money.
I need to find that and put that in here because that's all I'm focused on. I mean, if it's not about the money, it's not really news to me. So the only thing I really want to put on the minds of the listeners and the watchers of this broadcast is NFT. If you have not heard of NFT and you don't know what that is, that means non-fungible tokens. That's what NFT stands for. It has to do with the blockchain, cryptocurrency, Ethereum, and all of that good stuff. However, independent artists, some of them are making major money in NFTs, and they're selling these directly to their fans, directly to that community that is into cryptocurrency, Ethereum, and NFTs. Digital artist Beeple, and I'm sure the young people know this artist. They're reporting he's made about $69.3 million in NFTs. Now, I'm just reporting the news. I have not verified the news, okay? But that's what they're reporting. $69.3 million. Another Grammy Award-winning musician, producer, RAC, that's the stage name, Andre Años. He's made over $1 million doing NFTs. So I want to, kind of put this on our listeners' mind. You need to start looking into it. We're going to be looking into it. OLM is going to be looking into it for you as well, because we know this is an area where independent artists can make money, and they can make some nice money. So we want to make sure that we stay on the cutting edge of the new technology that's out here and things that are moving in the area of monetization of musical content, and that's one that I want to put on your mind, NFTs.
All right, I got to
After today.
I know. I got to find that song for you. I'm going to have to find it. So before we get out of here, we can have.
You're going to have
So
yourself.
Because what is that, juking? Yeah, we need to be juking to that right about now.
Exactly.
Speaking about monetizing money, the Memphis Music Bank is so structured for helping our Tennessee music creators do just that. And I know we're going to be talking about that more, but there's so many ways that we can definitely get to the money. The Memphis Music Bank and NFTs is definitely the future. Hey, hello, Darren Catron. Thank you for hanging out with us on this MMB Live, first Monday of every month. I'm hanging out with Angela, and I'm super hyped for whatever reason. It's probably the nap. It's probably
the nap, yeah, and it's Monday, so it's the beginning of the month. So we're in. Also, too, you have your show, the Christie Taylor Show.
Yeah.
I actually did the show today. It was excellent. I caught the premiere today, and I want to run your commercial so everyone can see exactly what you're doing.
Thank you.
And we're back.
We had a little technical difficulties, but y'all go to the Christie Taylor Show on YouTube to catch the replay. And if you love podcasts, you can also check it out on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, Google. Thank you, Angela.
You're welcome.
What did you like about today's show, which I was talking to filmmaker Darius West of LA?
Yes, I really enjoyed because he's a Christian hip hop artist, and they have a new feature film that's going to be debuting on June 19th. And so I thought that was quite interesting. I mean, I'm looking forward to getting out myself, starting to get into going back to the theater, going back to, be in the mix with the independent film community here in Memphis. And so to watch that interview and see what they have planned there. I think they're in Texas, correct?
He's in LA, but they're screening.
Oh, LA, okay.
Having a Juneteenth weekend celebration.
Right.
Going to be the screening of the film, and many of the legendary Christian hip hop for the first time ever.
Oh, okay.
Stage together. So this is like a big deal. And I learned from the interview that Dallas is like one of the hot spots when it comes to Christian hip hop. I never knew that.
I never knew that. I never knew that either. I would think it was Nashville or Tennessee or something like that.
I did too. But they said it's Dallas. It's Dallas. But with that being said, we have an in if Orlem wants to screen Mic Drop, the Chronicles of Hip Hop. We can see if we can make that happen and bring it to Memphis.
Oh, awesome. Looking forward. Let's definitely look into making that happen. So we have a very special guest today. Most people know her by Professor Butler. She was actually right here in Memphis for several years at the University of Memphis, teaching music business to all the little students who want careers in music, and just opening their eyes to all the things that they can do outside of playing music and performing. And she's now, I believe, a director at Berkeley College or University. And I'm going to have, when we bring her on, I'm going to allow her to give us all the specific details. But right now, I want to welcome to the virtual stage my friend and colleague, Miss Professor Butler.
Hey, good to see you. Thank you, Angela. You should let Christy up there so we can just commiserate.
She's coming back.
All right. It's good to see you, Angela and Christy. Thank you both for having me.
It's good to see you too.
Oh wow, this is wonderful. Yes. What an honor.
Now the reason why I definitely
Now, to be clear, you're at the University of California at Berkeley, one of the premier.
No, the other one. That is so funny because I did the same thing when I first found out. Berkeley, first of all, it's spelled differently. So it's spelled Berklee, and it's Berklee College of Music in Boston.
Oh, you're at the Boston location.
That's right. And let me tell you something. A lot of people don't know this, but UC Berkeley and Berkeley College have no affiliation.
For real?
None whatsoever. They're spelled differently. And Berkeley College of Music is the only. Sometimes we say it's the number one, but it's kind of hard to be number one when you're the only one. We are the only contemporary college of music in the world.
Wow.
Which means when you go to a college of music, you will be studying, in particular in the United States and Europe, you will be studying classical music.
Right.
In some schools, you'll be studying classical music and jazz.
Correct.
When you come to Berkeley, we merged with the Boston Conservatory. So we offer classical music and jazz, but most students come to Berkeley College to study hip hop, R&B, rap, country, bluegrass, gospel, you name it.
Wow. I never knew that. Thank you.
I never knew that.
Professor Butler is schooling us here on MLB Live tonight. Thank you.
Yes, she is.
And I just happen to be the new chair of the music business department at Berkeley, because you can study music.
That's
you
right.
Still can major in film scoring. We have a huge film scoring department. You can major in production and engineering, and you can major in music business. So I am chair of the music business management department at Berkeley and have been so since August of last year.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So one of the good things that came out of the 2020 for you was that. So we salute you on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I will add that our current intern for OLM is from Berkeley College of Music.
That's
Miss
right.
Charlotte Haggerty, and we're very happy to have
film scoring major? Is she film scoring?
No, she's not film scoring.
Okay.
But she's, I believe, music business and music production.
Cool.
So she's been working out really well. Yeah. And we have another gentleman who's going to be starting with us, Graham Duvall. So we have two students who are going to be working with us eventually from Berkeley. So we're definitely pleased with the students and the quality of the students that are coming out of the program.
Let me tell you something, honey. We don't play.
Exactly.
We prepare them for the real world. A lot of people refer to Berkeley as a microcosm of the music industry.
Okay.
Because it's all genres, all nationalities, all kinds of people, people who are different races, different nationalities, different gender identifying, you name it. We are a microcosm of the industry. So if you really want to learn how the industry really works, you come to Berkeley.
That's right. Now, I definitely wanted you on the MMB Live Show was because of what you do outside of Berkeley.
Oh,
so why don't you tell everybody about your podcast? I'm not going to give it to you because you say it the best.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Okay, so it's so funny that Angela mentioned that because I got to give you the backstory first. The backstory. So the backstory is this. I have been teaching legal aspects of the music business for 16 years. It's a class I created back in 2004 at the University of Memphis. I taught that class at University of Memphis. I taught it at Middle Tennessee State. I taught it at the Los Angeles Film School. I taught it at Minnesota State. And then when I came to Berkeley for the first 3 years I was there, I taught it here. Once I became chair, I found out that I would probably no longer have time to teach legal aspects of the music business. So last summer, I was feeling I really miss the curriculum. And I miss teaching people how to protect themselves and their music. So I tried to figure out, well, what other platform could I use? And that's when I thought of podcasting. So I created a podcast. And it's funny because my class had often been referred to as a boot camp. Yeah, because I don't play. So I called my podcast the Business of Music Bootcamp, which, if you take the first letter of each word, spells bomb. So my podcast is the B.O.M.B Podcast.
I love how you say it.
And it's all about the business and legal aspects of the music industry. And
That's a great name.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And you know, I was looking at you, Christie, and knowing that you also have a podcast, but yours is you record it on video as well.
Correct.
That is something that I have yet to do. I have yet to do for several reasons. But let me tell you a little bit about the B.O.M.B so you'll understand how it's put together. I hear a phone. Oh, no, that's not my phone. First of all, it's 30 minutes. And it's a solo cast. So I don't do interviews and I don't have a partner. So I know you're thinking, so what can one person do for 30 minutes that would keep somebody's attention? It's not easy. It is not easy. But what I do primarily is I take stories that are in the news that generally involve celebrities. I have about 16 episodes now because I started last summer. And maybe 4 or 5 of them don't involve celebrity stories. They just involve, the typical average up-and-coming musician. But once I started doing the celebrity stories, I noticed that my listenership grew. So I decided this year to focus strictly on celebrity disputes.
Ooh.
Disputes. And what I do then is I relate those celebrity disputes to the average everyday musician. So I'll give you an example. I did a 2-part series on Kelly Clarkson's divorce. Now you might think, well, what does that have to do with the music business? Well, the person she divorced, her husband, was also her manager. And generally when you get rid of your husband, right, you all don't share money anymore.
Right.
So she decided, since you are no longer my husband, you are also no longer my manager, which means you are no longer entitled to my money. Well, little did she know that he didn't agree until he sued her.
Wow.
For unpaid commissions.
Ooh.
Now, this happens in the music industry a lot. It's not that big of a deal.
All the time.
What made it a big deal in Kelly Clarkson's case is because it was her husband, they didn't have a written management agreement. That's right. They had a verbal agreement.
A verbal agreement.
Which, by the way, happens all the time in the management business too. There are plenty of people who work with managers who don't sign contracts. So he sued her, based on the verbal management agreement.
Yes.
And what I did, I think in the first part of the episode, in the first episode, I talked about how a verbal agreement is a legal agreement.
Yes, it is.
And I did talk about the very few, the handful, and Angela would know this, handful of agreements that must be in writing in order to be valid. There's only 5 of them. Contract for real estate has to be in writing to be valid. A contract for the sale of goods over $500 has to be in writing. And most people want to say, well, I bought a washing machine. It was more than $500. I didn't have a contract. Yes, you did. It's called a receipt.
A receipt.
It's called a receipt. 1, 2, 3. Contracts for marriage have to be in writing. Contracts where you take on the debt of another person, and any contract that can't be performed within 1 year. That's called the statute of frauds. That's the law. So I explain the statute of frauds and say, unless you're one of those 5 contracts, you can have a verbal agreement and have it be completely valid. In my classes, I talk about, well, who then determines what the terms are when the parties don't agree? And my class loves it because show them clips of Judge Judy. Now, Judge Judy is not the one who actually determines these disputes, but it's somebody like a Judge Judy who has to listen to both sides. He said, she said, determine who's telling the truth, who has the most evidence, and the judge is the one who makes the determination. So in part 2 of the Kelly Clarkson dispute, after talking about the written agreement, then I talked about the part of the agreement that the husband is zeroing in on, which is those commissions. Because if you don't have a written agreement, you probably didn't discuss when those commissions are supposed to end. That's right. So, you know, Kelly Clarkson just got a new TV show. He want to get paid. He wants to get paid on that TV show for as long as it runs, whether I'm married to you or not. So I talk about something called a sunset clause and how that needs to be included in your written agreement, or you need to at least talk about it in your verbal agreement so that those commissions come to an end at some point in time. So I usually break down the case. Then I go into a little bit of rule of law, and then I add my own little spin on it, you know, give you all my opinion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I love doing it because it is, I've had people say to me, many of my students even watch it as supplemental material to their classes. Because when I'm talking about what's a work made for hire, if you're in class, you know, you may get a little bit of education on it, but you don't get to dive deep. I take 30 minutes and dive deep. And so far, they love it. So far, they love it. And I love it.
And I love it. And I love it too, because I was listening to, you know, I have it on my my Google podcast. And I was waiting for it when they dropped. I was like, oh, let me
so I'm working on
for me.
one,
you know, it's a refresher for me. I said it's a refresher because even though I've been practicing in the area for years, you know, sometimes you just need to refresh your memory on things. And so I enjoyed listening to them. And I was telling artists that they needed to go and listen to them and get a basic working knowledge.
That's right.
So that'll help you keep you out of trouble. You know,
let me tell you something, because one of my first episodes was Lady A. Y'all remember Lady A?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And how Lady Antebellum all of a sudden decided that Black Lives Matter. So they want to change their name from Lady Antebellum, referring to the antebellum South, before the war South, to Lady A. Problem is, there's already a Lady A. So what do you do? What do you do when you own the trademark in your name and somebody else decides they want to use that name? Well,
somebody bigger than you. That's the bigger thing. Bigger than you.
That's right. Because in the real world, somebody else wants to use your name, right? All you got to do is prove that you were using it first. And I believe she even had it registered with the trademark office. So you got to stop using her name. But what happens when you're Lady Antebellum and you really want to use that name? They took her to court. They took her to court. And unfortunately, and I say this unfortunately because, you know what, it really is a matter of the big guy versus the little guy. Mm-hmm. And they decided they wanted that name. So she probably could not afford the same legal team and you know that they could. And I believe the settlement ended up being an agreement to coexist. Meaning we can be Lady A and you can be Lady A, even though you've been Lady A for 20 years.
And because they're so big, it's going to drop her out.
That's right.
It's almost like
that's right.
It's a no-win.
It's a no-win. Yeah, they're so much bigger than her. When you search Lady A, they're going to come up. She's going to be buried in the Google, you know, exactly. So that's right. So I talk to artists, you know, I tell them about that situation and I talk to them about how to protect themselves and to keep the same thing from happening to them. As a matter of fact, that's my new saying for this season, which is you need to pay attention to what happened to them. Because if you don't pay attention to what happened to them can happen to you.
Happen to you. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So I'm enjoying every minute of it. It just, you know, and Christie can attest to this. It takes so much time.
Yes, it does. It does.
A lot of people think, you know, you just get on the mic, you know, I got my microphone over here and start talking. my podcast, because it's 30 minutes and it's just me, and there's very specific
And
information
it's legal.
and it's legal.
And it's legal. You breaking down legal and making it digestible and palatable to the everyday person. That takes time.
It takes time, and it's very highly researched. Very highly researched. Which is one of the reasons why I can't do the. I could do the the YouTube version. I would love to, but most of my podcast is scripted so that I don't miss anything.
But there's a fun way. Of course, we could talk about this. As Christie Taylor Consulting, show development. There's a fun way that you could make it visual on video.
Okay.
YouTube, even if you don't want to necessarily be the primary face of it. There's some cool ways that you can do that. I'll tell you more about that.
Yes, I would love to consult with you about that, Ms. Taylor.
Yes,
because I know everybody wants video, Yes. I designed it for an audience that, has half an hour in the car or at home or whatever to really listen. And my podcast is so serious. You may need to take notes while you're listening.
Yeah. Wow, that's good stuff.
It's that serious. It's that serious.
But it's highly entertaining.
I was going to say, but also the last part is to be able to provide that type of in-depth legalese and be entertaining and be about something that a lot of musicians and singers and creators need to know. That's powerful. So my question for this MMB Live is, what are some of the things that you're noting for 2021 that a musician who's starting out from Tennessee needs to be aware of?
Yeah. You know what? I have never been a fan of production agreements. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. There are many artists now that either don't want, but usually can't get a major label record deal. But they don't have the resources, the contacts, the relationships to kind of market their music themselves. Sometimes they don't even have the money to go into a decent studio to record. So what they do is they partner with a producer. Now I say it that way on purpose, because just because you got a studio in your basement does not make you a producer. So they end up signing with this producer person who allows them to use the studio and maybe pays for some things and advances them a little bit of money, that sort of thing. And they enter into an agreement with them that basically says, if you do get a deal, right, they'll have to come through me. Yeah. And what they end up doing is they end up tying you up.
Yeah.
They really do. And then what happens is, you go to, if you did get the attention, capture the attention of a major label, they don't want that producer.
No.
They don't want him. They have their own people. And the artist is thinking, okay, or maybe even the producer is thinking, well, maybe they'll buy me out.
Right.
That's what they're thinking. Okay. You better be worth something for me to buy you out.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I can get artists over there, right, who look like you and sound just like you.
Yeah.
Who's not
tied up. Right.
In a deal. So for 2021, I want to encourage artists, composers, songwriters, filmmakers, no matter what your art is. I want to encourage you to know your power. Know your power. Stop giving away your power. I do this lecture on networking. And I say one of the keys to networking is to not be so thirsty. Now, we all know there's a difference between being hungry and being thirsty. You can be hungry.
Right.
We all hungry.
Right.
But as soon as you get thirsty,
yes,
I put it in the context of a dating relationship. If you let's say, you're a beautiful young woman or a very attractive young man, but you have not been getting that attention that you want. You haven't fell in love. You haven't met that one special person yet, right? But then here comes Johnny come lately.
Right.
I'll be your boyfriend. Who says, okay, Johnny? Somebody thirsty. Somebody thirsty.
Somebody thirsty.
Somebody thirsty.
If you in your right mind, you be like, wait a minute, Johnny. I don't know you like that. You ain't took me out to dinner. You ain't bought me no shoes. You ain't had my nails done.
Right.
I don't know you like that. Right? But if you're thirsty, you'll take anything that somebody puts in front of you.
Right.
You're basically desperate.
Mm-hmm.
And you're giving away your power. So I try to encourage creatives to know, recognize, and own their power so that they go into situations with confidence. So that when Johnny come along offering you a production deal or a movie deal or whatever it is, you have some strength behind you.
Right.
That's what I encourage them to do.
See, we're in the age of the independent artists, and they need to recognize where we are. And like you said, like she says, your power. And you have to understand your negotiating position.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And no matter where your negotiating position is, you can win as long as you understand your negotiating position and accept what you can get out of the situation and make it work for you. You know what I'm saying? Make it work.
On the head. Accept it. Now look, and I tell them all the time, if you begging Johnny for a date and he take you to McDonald's, you get what you get.
Right.
You get what you get. Accept it. But if you own your power and let Johnny come ask you for a date, now you can make some demands.
Right.
Now you can say, I want to go to Sizzler.
Right.
Take me to Applebee's. Whatever
it is. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You can start making some demands.
Yeah. Making some demands.
This is some really good information because I remember, before it was vogue for Black people to get deals. So we're about to date. Me and Professor Butler, we're finna date ourselves.
Yep.
There was a time when we weren't chasing deals because deals were not available to us. So we made our brand strong. Of course, we weren't calling it branding and all that.
No, it wasn't called that then. That's right.
But you created your own buzz. You created your own following. You got out there and you worked hard and you created a fan base that was loyal to you. So regardless of deal or not, you still ate.
That's right.
Still ate. And now we've become so accustomed to the industry feeding us.
Ooh, now see now. What you doing? You see where you going? Because you can say that about Black people in a whole bunch of ways.
Yes.
Right.
Collectively.
Collectively. When wasn't nobody feeding us, we had to feed ourselves. So you start feeding us, now we got a handout.
Right.
And we'll go hungry.
And we'll go hungry.
And we'll starve to death if they don't.
That's right.
When you still have the same capabilities to go feed yourself.
That's right.
It's really created a not even a codependency, a full dependency.
Full dependency. That's right.
Full dependency where, and if somebody say to you, well, why don't you just go and gig? Or why don't you even virtually have a weekly live acoustic session from your house? It's like you just literally told them that they're invaluable, that they're not worth anything. I mean, they literally take it as an offense, whereas it's like, no, we're saying that as a result of your talent, skill set, and abilities, you can draw your own following to you, and then you can turn around and cash that in if you so desire.
If you so desire. That's exactly. That is such a good point. It's such a valuable point because you know what? What you're saying, Christie, is basically we've taken away some of that hunger. And we've made artists dependent upon, it's almost like whenever I talk to somebody that wants a deal, I say, what you really want is an investor. Number one, that's what you really want.
That's what you really want.
Yeah, you want somebody to invest in you because you're cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, as a savvy investor, that's not enough for me.
Yeah.
Not only must you be cute and talented and all those other things, but I need to know that I'm going to get a return on my investment.
Yes.
Have you sold anything in the past? Have you done anything in the past? Where is your track record? Where are your numbers? That's what I want to know as a savvy investor. But the other thing is, I also want to know, have you invested in yourself?
Yes.
So instead of running to that producer with the studio because you don't have money to pay for studio time, right?
Yeah.
Why you can't drive an Uber a few nights a week?
See, okay, because here we go.
And pull that money together. Put that money together.
Going
Because
back
it's not that expensive. It's
So
really
you can
not that
stay
expensive.
independent.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
That's right.
But
That's
God
right.
forbid you do a side hustle to pay for your passion.
Ooh, God forbid. Oh, you're right. To pay for your passion.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, and you know, so that goes back to that hungry and thirsty. You know, you're not hungry enough.
You're not hungry enough.
Yeah, you're not hungry
enough. When you get hungry, Les
when you get
Brown
hungry,
has a
do whatever you need.
Les
do
Brown
whatever
has a
you need to do.
motivational. He said, "When you get hungry, y'all look it up. Les Brown hungry.
H-O-H-O-N.
Right.
G-R-Y. Yeah, hungry. You know, and I remember also being early from the industry, you know, when we couldn't get a deal. It was like, you know, finding a needle in a haystack. And people were hungry to get out of the you know, poverty. They were hungry to provide for family. They were hungry enough to just feel alive in a world that sometimes discounted them. They did what it took. They didn't cut corners. Because as a matter of fact, many times they would do double work to make sure they got it right, because it's almost like, remember those video games, level by level? They would that once they learned one level, they learned it so good they could build it upon the next level, And part of the dependency that has occurred is people skip levels. Not only do they want you to feed them, saute the onions, you know.
Right.
Then they want to be like, well, can I skip that and just get straight to dessert?
That's right. That's right.
It's like you haven't even had a full course meal yet.
And that makes me wonder, where are the music moguls or the entertainment moguls of the future? Because the moguls that we idolize now, those gentlemen and ladies were hustling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Selling CDs out of the trunk of their car.
Yes. Come on, Master P.
Doing shows at the mall.
Yeah. Yes.
Everybody too good to do a show at the mall in the mall parking lot today.
Oh, first of all, how many people would go take their CD right now to a beauty salon? Wouldn't do it.
No,
Wouldn't do it. We see it as comic relief in a movie to see somebody being enterprising enough to know there's a captive audience for probably 3 to 4 hours under the dryer.
That's right. That's exactly right.
To sell anything. Yeah, to sell anything.
That's right.
You know,
so they weren't hungry enough, but they were plenty thirsty.
But they were plenty thirsty.
Yeah, right, plenty thirsty.
They're plenty thirsty. And they'll drink Clorox.
They'll drink Clorox.
Yeah.
They will drink anything you offer them.
Yeah.
As opposed to go out and really, really working for it.
Right.
And that's the nature. So that's my message for 2021. Know your power and invest in yourself. Let people invest it in yourself.
And for those who are willing to, because we just preached that one end, so here's the positive end to that, the polarity. If you are going to invest in yourself, Professor Butler, what does that really look like in like 3 to 5 steps?
Absolutely. First of all, you got to have a plan. I can't go nowhere without Google Maps.
Yes.
You need a plan. You need a GPS. You need to know where you're going. And that does not mean that you can't change direction or destinations at some point. But you got to have an A and a B to start with. You got to start somewhere and know where you're trying to get to. That's number one. Then number two, I always say, you got to have a budget. Because if you at A and you're trying to get to B, better figure out how much it's gonna cost you to get there, right? And then you gotta drive. Then you gotta have that drive. So you got to have a plan, you got to have finances to support the plan, and then you have to have the drive to implement the plan.
That's good. That's good stuff, honey. That's your next stump speech. That's your next stump speech. Do you have what it takes to get where you're going? Do you have what it takes to get where you're going?
That's right.
That's good. So if you are willing to have that type of independent career, then there you go.
There you go.
Well,
plan it, pay for it, implement it. That's all you need to do.
This is good.
Yeah, good stuff. I appreciate you guys asking me all these wonderful questions. If I can just say, the B.O.M.B podcast is on all platforms. You can also go to my website at professorbutler.com, and it has the links to the podcast. And also, I wrote a book a few years ago, which I'm in the process of rewriting for a second edition. It's called The Music Business is Corrupt, or Maybe You Just Can't Sing.
Ooh, that's good.
It's a page turner. It's a page turner.
I wrote it when I was mad. So it's a good one.
It's a good one.
This is good. Well, Professor Butler of the Berklee College of Music and Arts.
Yes. Well, just Berklee College of Music. Yeah. I think they took the arts part off.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Do you have some time to hang out with us?
Sure, I would love to hear what's going on next. Absolutely.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're gonna move into a commercial from one of our distributor partners. So check them out right here.
Authentic.
Curated.
Woke. Unapologetically black.
Dope. Substantive.
Powerful.
Innovative.
Relevant. Global. Cultural.
Black excellence. That's my Kweli TV.
Our culture curated.
That's Kweli TV. The founder of Kweli TV is from Memphis, Tennessee, Deshauna Spencer. And she was actually on the podcast here, MMB Live Show, I think a couple of months ago. No, actually, I think it was just last month in May. I think she was on the show with us. And so we always want to show support for Kweli TV. So streaming on all your platforms, Fire Stick, Roku, just everywhere. I think Xfinity TV, so you can get Kweli TV. Absolutely. So the next segment, we're moving into our MMB Spotlight. So each month, we always spotlight one of our producers. And so this month, we are spotlighting, let's see here, Richard Wilson. So Richard Wilson is he's one of our producers. And in Memphis, we have people from all over the world who basically migrate to Memphis, Tennessee because of the music. And Richard is one of those. He's actually from Edinburgh, Scotland. He grew up near London. And so he moved here and he started, he was into punk and new wave music in the late 70s. So that prompted him to learn to play the guitar and to write songs. He formed bands. He played in pubs and universities. And then eventually he moved to the United States. And many of his, people that he admired, Buck Owens, Roy Buchanan, Muddy Waters, Clarence Brown, Pee Wee Creighton, Aretha Franklin, and many others. And so his music has I guess it's like, we call it smooth jazz is the type of music that we call it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna play a little bit of Chosen Soul.
Blues. Or smooth
blues. Is that what we call it?
I like that. Smooth blues.
Smooth blues. So we're going to play a little bit of Chosen Soul.
Stay awake till the morning. Something else has brought you to. Stay awake to feed on honey. something else is driving through. Time is running out for you. Never have the time to prove if I was a chosen soul. Feeling good, I'm in control now. Tiger still is going slow. Sky's blue, the air is sweet now. Nothing else is right. Time is running out for you.
So that is Richard Wilson, Chosen Soul. His music can be found in the bank, memphismusicbank.com. You go to the artist section, you look for Richard Wilson, and you can hear all of his tracks. You can also license those tracks directly from the website. You can build your own license with 3 easy steps. And just like that, pay online and get the music as well as your license emailed directly to you. So that's just one of the many artists that we have in the Memphis Music Bank. And as you can see, we have all types of music, all types of genres, and we're always looking for more music to put into the bank. So if you're an artist, a Tennessee artist, and you are looking to get music placement, looking to learn about music scoring and such, please go to the memphismusicbank.com. Send some information. You can get all the information there on how to submit your music. We pride ourselves on having music that is legally sound, quality, as well as reasonably priced. And then if you want to be featured in the Memphis Music Bank Mixer Competition, all you have to do is send us an email to info@onlocationmemphis.org. Just send us an email there, make an inquiry, and we can also talk to you about how you can be a part of the Memphis Music Bank. So that's a little bit about what we've been doing down here, Professor Butler. So we're trying to keep it alive.
Wow, I'm curious to know what is it filmmakers or what types of entities usually license from your composers?
So we've had, of course, filmmakers, visual content creators. We've had companies that were using music for their virtual events or their live events. People who, individuals who were putting together their own visual projects or just digital invites that they have music attached to it. So anytime there's music and visuals coming together, they can license music. And so our pricing is very reasonable. It runs from $50 being the cheapest license up to over, $1,000 depending on, the budget and how you build it. And then of course, if your project is over $250,000, then we do custom contracts, negotiations there. Then we also have, some of our producers are learning to score. And so we have a couple in there that are very good at scoring and continuing to build their techniques in that area. And then we have others who are learning, but we've been able to negotiate scoring projects for films. And we're looking to do more of that and moving into the music supervisor space. So, just kind of positioning ourselves in a place where we can actually decide, whose music is going to go into the project. So we're trying to move into that space a little bit more as well. So just trying to open the door, to the world of music licensing for these independent artists here in Tennessee. And we know, after what happened in 2020, it really validated what we were trying to do. We have been singing, from the rooftops that, mailbox money is the way to go. You need to at least add this to your repertoire and try to get in here. And we launched the website in 2019 and 2020 hit, and it just really validated what we were doing and the reason why. And there are many artists who, they attest to the fact that, having that money come in really helps sustain them. those who had already crossed over and
Right.
made it in, they were able to sustain, because we know that the streaming world actually their stock went up in 2020 because of everyone's need and desire for that streaming content. So we're just moving along and keeping it moving here with the Memphis Music Bank.
Good. Well, it
And
seems
I'd
like
like to
it's
add
so
to that.
valuable. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Christie. Go ahead.
And Professor Butler, to add to what she said, one of the things that we were talking about, like the Memphis Music Bank Mixer Competition, which allows filmmakers or visual content creators to begin to meet our music creators, and organic relationships are forming as a result. So one of the benefits of being connected to the Memphis Music Bank is really building that relationship with emerging and independent creators at a time when they can afford each other.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
So that's one of the,
That's right.
building
What
those
a
relationships.
wonderful service and a wonderful opportunity for, up and coming composers and producers and mixers to not just have their work heard and made
Right.
available for purchase, but to collaborate with others, and to build their network. I'm all about that network, honey.
Oh,
So
yes.
I think that's really,
Absolutely.
really important. What a great service.
And
Absolutely.
one of the things I want to also indicate, and I know that we will be having some more future opportunities, including giving music creators a chance to start working with those gaming developers.
Yes.
Right.
Oh boy, yes, you should.
Yes. So that's one of the things that we are we're building that out right now. So we're trying to create those relationships. And if you happen to know someone who is a video game developer, we're looking to build those relationships with the video game developers so that they can be featured in the gaming edition of the MMB Mixer competition. If you know of someone, or if you have a connection that you can make, please email me at angela@onlocationmemphis.org. Angela@onlocationmemphis.org. As soon as we are able to build those relationships and get enough people there, our artists are definitely game. They're interested. They want to learn that space. And so that's what we're looking to do. So if you know anyone, please let them know.
Absolutely.
Send me an email, angela@onlocationmemphis.org. And we will do that. So before we head into our announcements, we'll just do a quick commercial for the MMB. Cool. That's the Memphis Music Bank.
Nice. Is that music from the bank?
That's music from
And
the
that
bank.
is music from the bank.
Nice.
That's Rowdy. Who scored that music for us. And he did an excellent job. And so we're very proud of that piece right there. So that's what we run every first Monday of the month.
Excellent.
All right. So as we wind it down, I think I'm gonna allow you, Christie, to take it, because we do have something special that's going to officially be announced probably mid-month, but we're going to do a little sneak peek today just to let people know what's coming down the pike. And so I'm going to let you, because you're our filmmaker liaison. And
Are you going to give them share the screen while I break this down. So, okay, so
Uh-oh.
those who don't know, I am a radio personality by trade, but I also am a produced screenwriter, have been pursuing that film aspiration. And then my first love was music. So I've always been music, media, and film, radio, TV, and film. And here we are, given an opportunity to converge filmmakers with musicians in a harmonious way. And I'm super excited that to partner with On Location Memphis and the Memphis Music Bank, we now have the All Tour Club. The All Tour Club, which of course is an opportunity for filmmakers to join us in a very special community where you can gain resources to help grow your film career from the state of Tennessee throughout the region, the tri-state area. And we're going to be hosting exclusive events, virtual events within the Altar Club. It's going to be where you go to onlocationmemphis.org, sign up for the Altar Club, and we will be hosting very special events, including our very first one sponsored by Tennessee Entertainment Commission. They are sponsoring for year one Altar Club memberships for Tennessee music and film creators. And the very first event you'll be able to attend will be Saturday, June the 26th, streaming exclusively online for the members of the Altar Club. Music scoring masterclass with a master himself, Andy Hill. He is a Grammy Award winning producer. He's the author of Scoring the Screen, The Secret Language of Film and Music. And Andy Hill for 2 hours. Okay, you can't get this for free anywhere else. For 2 hours of instruction and practical techniques on how to score music for film. This is an exclusive event with the Altar Club. It's our kickoff event, exclusively online for the members of the Altar Club. And did I say that for year one, Tennessee Entertainment Commission is gifting Tennessee creatives both in music and film with a 1-year membership. This is the level that we're going to. So if you are a creative in film and in music, this is the club to be a part of, and this is a premier exclusive event you do not want to miss.
Absolutely.
That is an amazing opportunity to be gifted a 1-year membership, to be able to attend a master class with a named composer. That is an amazing opportunity. And I'm one of those people that believes that, only the cream of the crop, only the cream will rise to the top. I'll put it to you that way.
Yes.
So those people who join the Auteur Club,
yes,
and those people who take advantage of this masterclass and this membership are the people who have their eye on the prize. We're not worried about everybody else.
Right.
You too busy. You too busy, or you got something going on. That's all right. It's the cream of the crop that we're looking for.
Yes.
And those are the people who will take advantage of this opportunity because they see opportunity and they understand the importance of networking and building relationships and exposing themselves to this type of education. So congratulations on that. That makes me want to join.
Thank you. And then too.
Well, Angela Green Esquire, can we offer Professor Butler one of our VIP opportunities?
Absolutely. Because more so than just networking in this club, we want it to be a resource for getting things done. So within the club, you have everyone who joins the club, they get a free web license to any song in the Memphis Music Bank for their project.
Wow.
That's every year that they renew, they get that free web license. Second, there is a resource library where they can find documents, blank, agreements, forms, things that they need that they can use for the film or the music industry. Now, of course, we're not saying bypass your attorney, what I'm saying? Of course not. But you have these resources, and we're building that resource database up so that you can just, it's at the click. You can just, I need a music scoring contract or whatever. I need at least a sample so I see what's going on. Oh, there it is. Let me go ahead and use this, that sort of thing. So we have the resource library. We have curated videos. In addition to what Andy is doing for the 2 hours, he is also recording 4 hours additionally that will be exclusively in the tour club. So it's 2 hours of practical music scoring and then 2 hours of theory. And those videos will be exclusively in the tour club. But then we're also going to be every month we will be doing streamings. And so from building financing, from talking to how to bring music creators and film creators together, from people like yourself. Hopefully you'll grace us in the tour club and do a session where people can come in and ask questions. Because I know you have music and film background in that area. So
I'm the sync and master use license queen.
Exactly. So hopefully you'll come on in and we'll, and as well as our distributors, because we're trying to build relationships with digital distributors, and we're hopefully they'll put their accounts in there, but we are creating those relationships between them so that the members can submit content to them, or better yet, meet them, like a Deshauna Spencer at Coeli TV, meet her and find out from her directly. What are you looking for? How do we submit our film projects? How does your distribution partnerships work? What's the pay? How does the pay work? What are the terms of the deal? Actually ask those questions. So we want to be more than just networking. We want to actually be a conduit for deals to be made, especially within that independent industry.
Deals to be done, honey. Deals to be done.
Right.
Deals to be done. I love that. That is wonderful. I would be honored to receive a membership. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely spread the word.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Speaking of that, one of the gifts that the Altar Club, while the Memphis Music Bank is for Tennessee musicians only, the Club is open to the world. Every visual creator across the globe can become a member. It's an amazing opportunity for our Tennessee musicians and creators to be able to network with visual and creators from around the globe. So definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, Christie, I think this has been another great show.
It's been
fun. You have definitely made it a delight, I must say.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Butler. We just want to remind everybody about the B.O.M.B. podcast.
I'm going to go subscribe as soon as I get off of here. I'm going to all platforms, and they can look for Professor Butler or Professor Tonya Butler.
Yeah, it's usually just Professor Butler or the B.O.M.B. podcast.
Or the B.O.M.B.
I'm going to subscribe today. I'm going to go.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to be in touch with you, Christie, about ways I can bring it to video. Look, if ever I have time. Oh, right. But the next episode that I am recording this weekend is about Taylor Swift re-recording her master recordings.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
And the re-recording restriction in her record contract that allows her to do that.
Wow.
That's going to be a good episode.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one.
I'm very excited.
That's going to be a good one. Thank you. But thank you, Angela, also for allowing me to hang out as always.
As always, we appreciate you, Christie, right here. You bring the fun to the party. You bring the fun to the party.
I bring the bubbly. I bring the bubbly to it.
You bring the
fun and the fire.
I definitely. Come on, music and film. It gets no better than this.
Absolutely. And we thank all of you all for tuning in to this episode of the MMB Live Show. Hopefully you'll join us next month, the first Monday of the month, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's where you will find us. Until then, we'll see you all next month.
Thank you.